We are doomed. Do you want to know why? Do you? Freedom-minded, freedom-loving, Gadsden flag-waving, facial hair having, AK-47 toting, red-blooded freedomers believe that freedom is something that is only a concept worded in their precise, parroted understanding of the concept. If you talk about freedom and liberty, and if you don't do it in such a fashion that the freedom people are used to, they will clamp down on you, close you off, accuse you of not being deserving of the liberty that you're willing to trade your security for. Whether the discussion is hypothetical or you're trying to explain the position of the bulk of Americans, that you're going to have to convince how this concept works for them. And these are probably the greatest allies and the most aware of the concept of freedom. And until those people that are the greatest allies and the most aware of the concept of freedom are willing to take the time to understand that 330 million people will need convincing, otherwise it's all for naught, then we're doomed and we continue to be doomed. People use their freedom for all kinds of stuff, man. And people's understanding of freedom is different from person to person, and what they choose to do with their freedom is different. Matter of fact, there's many people that their sole usage of freedom is so that they can restrict other people's freedom. That's not cool. It's not cool at all. Trading one tyrant for another is something that history does over and over and over again. You lift up a piece of paper, it's called the Bill of Rights, and you wrap it around yourself and say, "Oh, behold, I am protected." However, the clause in the Constitution from the Supreme Court leaves it the sole final arbiter of the meaning and application of the Constitution. So take your automatic rifle, go to court, stand before the Supreme Court, and shake the Second Amendment at them. And then, just like my video that I made, they will shake a piece of paper right back at you, showing you how you're not in the militia and how you don't need a 10-inch shot-off shotgun to be in the militia, because that's not a normal military use item. And then they cite musket rounds and all this other stuff. Until freedom people are willing to give other freedom people the benefit of the doubt and try to listen to what they're saying, we can't get anywhere. You know, when I started to be friends with Shall Not Be Infringed, I started to be friends with him when we were discussing the First Amendment. I think it may have been 2 years ago now. Roller Podger was even involved. And we were talking about freedom of speech and no sponsored state religion and this sort of thing. And Mike says, "I don't need anybody to tell me what this means. It says this, and that there's no state-sponsored religion and whatever. I get that, and I have freedom of the speech, and I get that." And, next thing you know, Roller Podger makes a video, and the first words out of his mouth, bless his heart, are, "And what this means is," like, he stepped right in it. Mike shot back with, "If a judge wants to wear a yarmulke and a Star of David hanging on the wall next to a cross, that doesn't matter to me." And he finished it all off with, "And I'm even an atheist or agnostic." He was the first agnostic person that I had seen stand up for the rights of someone that believed in something that he didn't even care about or believe in. I had my reasons for the First Amendment, being a Christian. I had my reasons for the Second Amendment, being a gun owner. I had my reason for the Fourth Amendment, being I don't want to be thrown in the hoosgow. We're given 2 ears, 2 eyes, but only one mouth. I mean, you gotta look at the source of this oppression, and you gotta look at the keys to your release. And believe it or not, they don't exist at the barrel of a gun.